pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. It's time for a change, got a boss up. The oppressor's about to get tossed up. I'ma lay him out, execution style's too late, but apologetic claim. You wrapped in a cloak of flame, by God it's over. Doing your time is to the end. Locked out silent without sin. You put me on the planet for justice to win. The oppressor's about to get rolled on, with suppressors attached in the war zone. Revolution can start in the Arizona. I'm a messenger prophet like Farrakhan, backed by the honorable, who sits at the pinnacle, who judges the hypocritical, cynical, and the plentiful sinful. My thinking is critical. I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protective service. Quick to pull the Glock, blast and kill. This don't take any type of skill. I'm ill of all citizens who haven't took a stand. Or kneels too late when the caps get pills. Don't believe it till you see it type. Ruin hits close to home. You gotta act the bone when it got the dome. When it's on the zone, all red in my vision through sight. It's killer be killed whenever I fight. From above I've been given the right. So you better be ready to ride tonight. All the way to the dawn daylight. We gon' rid them all, so gon' pass the kite. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender. 3-pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, me no surrender.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in the ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. If you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, gimme, gimme. Push, 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 push. Step, step, step. Crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped.
I gotta turn this around for a second. Turn this around for a second.
Now watch time and space rock the great matriarch, whether it's day or dark, creates the spark, ways the heart that Zai Sun Ray, my Arthur make the patriarch.
I had to put up by, like I said, we'll share some news with you guys, and then we're gonna read. We're gonna read actually. Enough. Like, you know, I already know what we're gonna read. Everything has a rationale. I had to put up my side on because I'm at home. I had to run out and do something. I'm still waiting on my boy to call me, but I had to go somewhere. And I cleaned a lot of I still gotta clean my Glock 43X, but I cleaned all the my firearms, and I wanted to run some stuff. I wanted to get some trigger time with some new ammo, some different ammo, not new. And I just wanted to, you know, see how I felt. But what I want to say is, we're gonna go this 10, 15, 20 minutes stuff. I actually have a video that I can do and then upload, or even before going live. Because you can actually upload a video live, as crazy as that sounds. So you can edit and everything like that. And so I have videos I could, but what I'm gonna do is my other channels, I'm gonna, all my shooting videos, I got a ton of them, ones that y'all haven't seen with me practicing, whether in an indoor range, showing people how I sight rifles in, where I'm sitting with a couple of buddies saying 5 rounds, I'll sight this in at 150 to 200 yards. And sometimes it'll start off at 30, anywhere from 15 to 30, and then I'll get like 2 rounds. And I just, for a reason, I'm very good with as long as everything is in its proper position. So I have stuff that a ton, and I need to upload them. I need to go ahead. And so the other page, I told y'all to subscribe to my other account. I'm just going to be putting a lot of 2A stuff over there, shorts, everything. I can go live over there too. And over there, I'm going to be reading stuff out of. I have hundreds of concealed carry magazines. There are some poignant points in there, some stuff that I've highlighted. And so what I'll do is I'll read, I'll go over the past history. I have some videos where I read some of the stuff. I didn't upload them here because even though I'm 2-day every day, I figured this would be more or less for, I'm a person after, being a supervisor, a leader in the military, who's always seen, people would say the officers, oh, no, they're not. They're not the leaders. Unless you get into SOF or special operation groups. Like I said, Green Berets are the ODAs. That's real special forces. Everybody else is special operators, I get my hats off to my Army brothers and ODA, man, Delta Force. I really do. And how this fake government has done some of them has been just deplorable. And SEALs, who are special operators. But special forces, ODA, Green Delta Force. I don't care how anybody feels. Even though I was training, and I know I would have made it SEALs because I just know it. I know how to downplay myself too very well. But the good old boy network. But I have a ton of videos. I use my tablet. I got another phone where I record stuff. It's got a ton of stuff with a SIM card. Not SIM card, but memory card. And I put a terabyte. I usually take it out there. Some of y'all see me set it up before when I'm going live just to record stuff, even though I always appreciate if Ganja does it. But so that other channel, for those of you who haven't subscribed to it, I'll just go ahead and take a picture and I'll upload it after this here because I ate me a half a tuna sandwich. I love my tuna the way I make it. I'm not particular big on buying tuna that's being canned now, specifically because of what I was saying earlier. Yet, because I plan on being down in Tucson real soon, I really would have started growing a lot of stuff right now. And I chose to go that because I just don't fret. As y'all hear, I have a lot of family in Jersey, East Coast, Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Maturin. I got a lot of family in New York. And they got a tsunami warning. There's a reason why you've been seeing all the weather, and they've been pumping out a lot of these fictional clouds and flying like crazy. But I'm not here to get into that. It's for you to see that, to know the propaganda and the deception and everything else that's going on. And I know that, like I said, I stated already, he already clarified to me when he came to look at my live, because he didn't even pop up, that there are people he says it's easy to see this stuff. There are people who are censoring, because to them, they think it's a bother. I always say, if you are so solid in what you're doing, and if you want to make me a target, that's the worst thing you could do. And I know they're hard of hearing because let me tell you about the perverted when they do things. When they believe they're in your head and you're acting on what they say and they don't understand a fisherman, a hook. I'm not a religious consort, though I don't have no issue with it. Their biggest mistake is believing that what they're doing is okay. And I'm grateful that they believe it's okay. So what they're doing is they're mitigating and censoring. I am not no Democrat, no Republican. I'm more of a threat to them, and I'm not even a threat to them because of their weak, infallible position and their place in so-called fake society, even if they're underground with a fake constitution and another fake government. All that stuff don't mean nothing to me. Their mistake is actually thinking or believing or being misled by something that it does. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into reading. I'm not calling and informing nobody about lives or anything. I'm watching this lady. I've been following her since she went on YouTube. She only had 780 subscribers. I subscribed right then and there because I wanted to support her and her father. Doesn't matter how she got where she is with her dogs or whatever. I do this with a lot of people. Her subscription, I shared it to another platform, I'm not going to say. And she has 1,500. And so I went on her page and told her, you know what, if you have a bank account and your father, go ahead You're getting your views up. You're over 1,500 views. They're not sensitive because you're showing pain and suffrage. You're doing something that goes for the agenda, that fits the agenda. Go ahead, and while you can, go ahead and seek that monetization, and be real coy. Don't voice your opinions about government or anything. Do what you're doing because they like that. It's like, and I didn't say this to her, but see, the thing is to be an obedient minion or a waste of life. That's how they're going to look. That's how they look at the majority of you. And those who are not indoctrinated or whatever in their little number of whatever, yeah, you're going to have issues with followers and everything else. The big mistake is that they really don't know how things work. And that's why I am so grateful. You know, the fly to the, how many of y'all have ever bought those little zappers? You remember when they came out in the 90s? You know, first they had the little, Hawaiian, the candles that you burn. What is that stuff called? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Then the little zappers came out. Remember they used to have those little stores before Walmart and all that existed that you can go to, you can get the little zapper and you can hang it up on your porch. Worst thing we ever did. It messes with your frequency and everything. But we had one a couple of them on the base when we used to party with the little picnic benches, and we barbecue and grill under two barracks from the two squadrons. That you guys who didn't have an apartment and stuff, regardless of those of us who had trailers or whatever, we'd always had our room in the barracks, you know, for duty. You know, if we got too heavy, you know, and we didn't want to drive, we could walk to the barracks. And especially if you ain't have a woman at the time, you ain't want to drive off base and make that turn. They've been watching you. They waiting on you. And you have not just the base police, but you have the state police, and you get that DUI. So anyway, those things right there, those zappers, you know, a fly to the light. And that's all I got to say to that. Anyway, let's get into 100 Years of Lynching. Okay, by Ralph Ginsburg. Okay, we got a couple in here I want to read right quick. We're gonna break some of this pacification. It seems like there's certain individuals, it's a mindset also. And I remember I told you, regardless of what they've done, you can break free of it. So let's get into St. Louis Argus, November. This is a paper. The St. Louis Argus, November 25, 1921. Yo, gotcha. What's going on, beloved? What's happening? You the only one in here? Yeah, that's censoring. Give me a 1, brother, if you could. Excuse me. Give me a 1 if you can respond. You got your package? Yeah, just keep an eye on their package. The package, UPS dropped the big old package off for them. Okay, brother. All right. Helena, Arkansas, November 18th. It says after it. Listen to me. This is what this Jewish author stated. After it had been hanged and cut down by one mob, and before it had been burned in a city hall bonfire by a second mob, the body of William Turner, Negro, aged 19, was hauled through Helena to provide a moving target for white men armed with pistols who lined the principal streets of this town and took pot shots at it. Turner had been hanged earlier for allegedly assaulting a white telephone operator. Turner's corpse was roped to the rear of an automobile and driven up and down the main streets of Helena, Arkansas, at various speeds as white men hooted, yelled, and perfected their marksmanship by shooting at the almost disintegrated remains. No colored folks were allowed on the streets. When the celebrants had had their fill, the body was burned. August Turner, father of the mob victim, was summoned to the park to remove his son's charred remains, sweep up the ashes. It was 1921. Memphis commercial appeal. Now, you need to know, if you want to look into it, you can look into that August Turner, into what he owned and who he was and his son and what happened after that. And you may be able to find the ringleader of this. Memphis commercial appeal, November 26, 1921. It's obvious we have some feds watching. Good. Negro ambushed, lynched for writing white girl. No such thing as a white girl, but we know what they're talking about. Little Rock, Arkansas, November 25th. According to information received by the Arkansas Gazette, here tonight, Robert Hicks, Negro, about 25 years old, was lynched Wednesday beside the public highway 4 miles southeast of Lake Village because of a note he wrote to a young so-called white woman. According to the Gazette's information, an effort was made to suppress the news of the lynching. But following a coroner's inquest today, the verdict was telephoned to Little Rock that the Negro came to his death at the hands of persons unknown. You already know who they are, the ones that's over there killing people in Palestine. According to stories of the affair obtained later, the Negro came to the girl's home Wednesday evening and asked if she had received his note. A band of men was waiting, seized the Negro, took him about 4 miles from town, and riddled his body with bullets, the very people who were part of blowing up the World's Fair and so on. And this is not an opinion. This is a fact. Fort Worth Telegram, December 12th, 1921. Nearly dead strike breaker. Nearly dead strike breaker. A strike breaker seized from hospital hang. A strike breaker. Fred Rus, Negro, packing house worker who last Tuesday shot and wounded 2 striking pickets at Armour and Company's plant, was taken from his bed at the City County Hospital here last night at 11 o'clock and hanged by a mob of 30 unmasked men. The Negro has sustained a double skull fracture in rioting at Armour's plant Tuesday. He had just finished work and was walking down a line of pickets when halted by the strikers. Some words passed and the Negro drew a gun, firing twice. Tom and Tracy Macklin, brothers, fell to the ground wounded. The Negro ran, but a mob quickly formed, took him away from police officers and beat him with iron bars ripped from a streetcar window. The mob left him for dead. So badly was he beaten that his eyes were invisible under facial swelling, and he was covered with blood. When he was brought to the hospital, it was expected that he would not live. We were all the other so-called Negroes. It's always the ones who are teaching, who have taught, who they try, who are the ones who educated these individuals on everything here. Miss Essie Slayton, night nurse, gave an account of the mob seizure of Rouse, like Randa Rouse, from the hospital last night. Several young men, they look like boys, ranging from 18 to 25 years of age, appeared at the hospital as I answered a call at the door. They stated they wanted no trouble, but were after the Negro who had shot the 2 white boys, so-called white boys, the light-skins. I was so surprised, I hesitated and finally called their attention to the fact that it was awful to come to the hospital like that. And besides, there are other patients in the hospital to be considered. I said to them, why don't you wait until he is well? They would not listen to that. And finally, I said I would call the superintendent. They told me they had come after the Negro and were going to have him, but that they were willing to do it quietly. It was obvious that I was helpless, and I led them to the basement, to the colored ward, and showed the men where Fred Rouse was being treated. I said, he is the one in the corner, but overlooked the fact that there were 2 in the corner, and the men went to the wrong corner. They nearly took the wrong patient. They began to feel the back and head of the other Negro, who was awfully scared, and he began to shout that he was not the one wanted. I had told them before that just for 2 of them to go in and not all of them, stating that the Negro was weak and could not offer resistance. I then came on back upstairs. I called their attention to the fact that he had no clothes, and they replied that he would not need any. Pretty soon they came bringing out the Negro, Rouse, almost in a run. The Negro offered no resistance, but was groaning very much. They went out the door with him and said goodnight to me. As soon as they left, I phoned the police station. I was so excited I did not get a chance to recognize any of the men. 20 minutes later, Rouse's body was found dangling from the tree by Chief of Police Harry Hamilton. He was bloody and his nude body was riddled with bullets. A revolver, presumably the one he had used in the strikers, was found underneath the tree. Rouse was hanged to the same tree where last December another Negro, Tom Vickery, was hanged. And now, you know how many melanated sisters have been murdered by these so-called white men, these light skins? Do you know how many? Do you know how many? It's funny, a lot of the brothers aren't doing this. Do you know the number? In this last year and right up to this point? Okay. I'm not rebel rousing. What I'm saying is the sins of the fathers. Either they better get it together or they keep listening to idiots who I still enjoy to watch because some things are right. But these rebel rousing ex-military individuals who will still have a racist conduct because they don't know the truth of history, like our brother Rich and Black Scout Survival and a number of other idiots who follow along. Let's get into the Negro Project. Margaret Sanger's diabolical, duplicitous, dangerous, disastrous, deadly plan for so-called Black America. I was just watching our brother Ace live, and you know it's sad that you can't explain to him about the so-called Amazon of Brazil. The people there that are saying yes, the indigenous and black people got together, and no, the indigenous aren't indigenous. They're the Asian and the Gujar Jewish mixed hybridization bastard people who came to the melanated people of the land of Brazil, all right, the queens and kings of that land, and married in or murdered their way in or raped their way in, and you have these hybridized individuals with straight hair, and because of Hollywood and the fact that Haitian and Jamaican, some of them believe they're from Africa with their dumbasses, are very unaware of this truth. And they won't listen to people like us who can break simple history down by teaching them about the liars of history, because every time you go everywhere, everything starts around 1800. So if he decides to come over here and see this, maybe our brother Ace Live will wake up and snap up out of that little growing up in Florida, Miami, Haiti, with all those other idiots and start realizing a truth compared to the lies of history. Like people of Afro descent, Afro-Indigenous, come from some goddamn place named Africa. Who the fuck? It just rubs me wrong. Man, that's what I want to go to war about. I don't care about the rest of this shit. They could drop nukes and everything else. But you get somebody standing in front of me with their little cock diesel ass fake self. Holmes, as y'all know, that's the I really detest showing her face. I don't like seeing it when I open the book. I seek nothing but pain in her. Yes, I do. Well, I'm not a forgiving individual. No, not at all. No. That's why I say if you're going to be all intelligent, you're going to make a choice to think somebody's going to sweat you. No. When I state the first thing, it is meaningful. If you say something and you're classless and you walk in a proprietor of being a bunch of bullshit because that's how you live, then I will let you stay there. Holmes' ruling was all the impetus needed to promulgate more sterilization laws across the country, particularly, I can't stand these language, particularly in the Deep South. And in a sad footnote to the story, the Virginia law the court upheld has never been overturned. Another case, Skinner versus Oklahoma, was heard by that body in 1942. After the state tried under its 1934 law to sterilize one Jack Skinner, a thief who was convicted 3 times for crimes ranging from stealing chickens to armed robbery. On this occasion, Justice William O. Douglas struck down the state law, noting that while a 3-time chicken thief could be sterilized, a 3-time embezzler could not. He ruled that Skinner could not be sterilized for his crimes, writing, "We have not the slightest basis for interfering that the inheritability of criminal traits follows the neat legal distinctions which the law has marked between those 2 offenses." Despite the ruling in the Skinner case, forced sterilization laws continued on the books. And at one time or another, that's why I show you the Supreme Court is part of the gimmick. At one time or another, 33 states had statutes permitting coercive measures of one, I was reading it wrong, of one kind or another to rein in the number of those deemed unfit of or defective by the respective states. We have already seen how eugenicists like Harry Laughlin define such people often through the use of highly subjective, erroneous, and biased criteria. As you know, they already went and done it to people who were actually legitimately normal. Sacrifices, y'all. And while Carrie Buck and her daughter were so-called white, as was Jack Skinner, there were those eugenics who, as shown, believed that sterilizing members of other races simply because they were members of other races was not only desirable and acceptable, it was a necessary remedy and a solemn obligation. Remember the words of Margaret Sanger in calling members of minority groups human weeds? In justifying her Negro project are the sentiments of Madison Grant, who believed that minorities should be exterminated should they dare to forget their place and marry others outside their race. And it is absolutely, what's funny, what marrying us is what made them absolutely stunning how many prominent Black Americans were taken in by the notion of race-based, every time you see Black and all that is to indoctrinate you. We can say autochthonous and we can just keep us the original people, all right? That's what I will say. Americans were taken in by the notion of race-based eugenics, in particular where the Negro Project was concerned. And these are good, upright Christians who didn't know how to read the Bible. Ham, the progenitor of the dark race, but not the Negro. It's been there since from the beginning. Actually, there was another term, but we'll get into that later. For example, Charles S. Johnson, the president of Fisk University, supported the idea of what he called eugenic discrimination. Writing in June 1932 issue of the Birth Control Review that such a program was necessary because of high maternal and infant mortality rates and to lower the incidence of diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, typhoid, which we did not bring, and venereal infections, which we did not have until the Tuskegee experiment. He contended that the status of Negroes, and which they brought here, as marginal workers raping our women and our men's and married women, and the men sleep with them and getting the stuff, and they didn't know what it was. And a lot of them were healing themselves, and they had to find a way around that. Marginal workers, their confinement to the lowest branches of industry, the necessity for the labors of mothers as well as children to balance their meager budgets, are factors that emphasize the need for lessening the burden, not only for themselves, but of society, which must provide the supplementary support in the form of relief. Johnson later served on the National Negro Advisory Board of Sanger's Birth Control Federation of America. Now, y'all can look into the BCFA. You'll be surprised at what you find. W.E.B. Du Bois lent his support of eugenics in an article titled Black Folk and Birth Control, in which he belittled those who oppose contraception on religious grounds as somehow not getting it, citing what he called the inevitable clash of ideas between those Negroes who are striving to improve their economic position and those whose religious faith made the limitation of children a sin. He took these people to task for their stubborn intransigence, calling them the mass of ignorant Negroes who breed carelessly and disastrously, he was a faggot, so that the increase among them is from that part of the population least intelligent and fit, and least able to rear their children property. Yes, Du Bois was a faggot. Even our brother, you and I are Indians. When you watch Mickey Rooney, James Baldwin despised W.B. Du Bois, just to let you know. Just as my great grandmother did too. She said he wasn't even from here. He was exactly what you consider not just a traitor, but a hybridized bastard is what my great grandmother called W.E.B. Du Bois, and my grandmother as well. Remember, my grandmother took care of the Gillespie, what's his name, the jazz, she, it, him, hermaphrodite. That's where we got our dog Sherpy we had, came from this Gillespie's Sherpy. Oh, y'all didn't know that either? Oh, my apologies. Oh, yeah. So anyway, the last video I said all cap because, you know, I didn't say nothing wrong. And they put a little gold English, so I'm enjoying that. And just like when I start off here, they have to have the little goofy-ass young little agent come in who they think they trained well enough to deal with me and sit there censoring. I wouldn't care if they're from China or wherever. Look, I have no issues with none of them people. But see, it's like I said, the little fictional government, the broken things. I have no problem with gay people. But you're not going to sit here on this soil and think you're in control of shit by lying, coward acts, deviations. No. Behold the Pale Horse by Mr. William Cooper. Okay, remember we're talking about Article 10. We're dealing with Article 10, and we're dealing with governmental arrangements. And last time we were dealing with the so-called general provisions, and we're going to pick up right at Section 3. Okay? Now, Section 3, really pay attention. See, once we get past this, because it's important to know this, and I hope you go back, then we'll get into the story of Jonathan May, which is, wow. So, unless otherwise, this is Section 3. Unless otherwise provided herein, officials designated by the head of a branch as shares in policymaking, listen, head of a branch as shares in policymaking, unless otherwise provided herein, officials designated by the head of a branch as sharers in policy making. So when you go to the general provisions, the governmental, whatever, if you go back to the branches of dealing with the judicial, pay attention, because this is how they do what they're doing. May be appointed by him with the president's concurrence, and unless the Senate shall object. Now, if the Senate, and you see what they're talking about, well, the Senate is Republican, what we got to do is, and you know what rhinos are, right? It's a game. They have no power, but because people are ignorant, they believed in their votes, and they look at everything going on, and they've been going to war, and people dying. People are ignorant to the truth, that they're all living a lie. Now, Section 4. There shall be administrators, A, for executive officers and official households appointed by authority of the president. Is that how it's supposed to work? B, for the national courts appointed by the principal justice. Who's supposed to make the uttermost, who's supposed to say yay or nay? The people. Do they have their best interests? They're not powerful, the president and all of them. That's not the power they will. The power they have is dictated by the goddamn people. C, for the legislative branch, selected by a committee of members from each house, chosen by the governor and the speaker. 3 from the House of Representatives and 4 from the Senate. Appropriations shall be made to them, but those for the presidency shall not be reduced during his term unless with his consent, and those for the judicial branch shall not be reduced during 5 years succeeding their determination, unless with the consent of the principal justice. If it goes against the Commonwealth, the Republic, the people, it does not stand. They are to be removed immediately. So what game is being played with all these so-called light-skinned folk, white folk, right, who think they know everything. And what's going on with these fake-ass lawyers who are not lawyers? And these judges who aren't even magistrates, who are fiduciaries. It's been a big word game, and most people are very blind to it. Section 5. The fiscal year shall be the same as the calendar year, with new appropriations available at its beginning. Let me read that again. The fiscal year shall be the same. Do y'all know what fiscal means? But do y'all? Shall be the same as the calendar year. So the fiscal year should be, so the day when they look at the numbers and all this other stuff, right? Thank you, Ganja. But when they look at the like pork barrel spending, what has to be met at the end of the year to receive it the next year, that's why it's wasteful spending. It has nothing to do with responsibility, taxes, IRS. It's all fraudulent. I told you we used to buy, and we get to a certain time, they had us buying $300 screwdrivers, $500 hammers. I was like, I can go down the street, snap on, and get a $13 hammer and a $6 screwdriver. You couldn't make this up. So let me repeat that again. The fiscal year shall be the same as the calendar year, with new appropriations, fiat, available at its beginning. So based on what was spent, will determine what's given. And you see that they have been falsely making false payments to things, further putting the country in debt to where we're not in debt. It's them motherfuckers that are in debt because it's the U.S. It has nothing to do with this land. And they got a bunch of Billy Goats, fake motherfuckers who are perverse, adrenochrome, and all that other stuff in positions, and a whole bunch of fake Pelicans. So they're always looking for that great white hope, right? The fake Jesus and everything else is the reason why this country is a downfall. And now they're attacking the so-called dumb racists and calling all of them racist and everything else because they know, listen, man, if Pelicans only realize, and all these Latinos and everybody realize that they've been the fucking problem and that their identities are fraudulent, and they turn around and come around and realize it, well, most of them would be on the chopping block. But because of their ignorance, because of their fake heritage and history they've been given and dolled out by the very people who conquered their great grandmas and so forth and up, is the reason we're dealing with this. That majority of them don't know who the hell they are, except for the identities they've been living by for the last full consort of 4 to 5 centuries, not generations. You dig what I'm saying? I don't bite my tongue when I say this stuff. When I last checked, I put not for children. This is for adults. When I last checked, we're adulting, aren't we? Isn't that the term, the legal term utilized? All right. And they put ads on there talking about tools. I've seen enough ads to know the funkiness of what they want to push is war. All right. That's why I challenge them, because they know they're full of it. And they got young, goofy individuals who are emotionally unstable, and they have a hard time dealing with this reality. And I'm not the one they want to fuck with. And I mean that plurally. Regardless of how some of you feel, I'm not your fucking enemy. Not y'all's. I told you we're eternally bonded. Man, it means more than what you think. But yes, we are. They are just fucking stupid. Don't y'all be stupid like them. Hey, no, 24. What's going on, beloved? T. Hines, it's good to see you, man. You almost ready, beloved? Marcus, Omac. Yeah, man. It's good to have you all up in here. Too bad the rest of them are too scared to speak. So I hope that y'all going to check out. I forgot to donate. I'll always donate later. But I forgot to donate. I like to donate to my brother Caramio and a few others. But anyway, I had to go check Max B and see if he put up some new music. But anyway, I hope that y'all are getting something from this, all right? I hope that you're really, really gaining something, that you're allowing yourself to step out of that shadow that they've created. And I know you're sitting there going, ain't nobody create. Listen to me. If you're responding like that, then you really don't know. Yes, you're a shadow, a shell of who you are, and they created you. And I don't think you get what I'm saying when I say created you, all right? All right, you are. You dig what I'm saying? Well, Friday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, y'all had your asses here, man. We have a good time. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show y'all what situation, what we're gonna do. I'm going over there tomorrow to talk to him. He should be over here, or I'll just go to the other what you call it, let him know it's gonna be open house. I'm gonna let you and you people come in here and buy shit first, because I'll mitigate some terms with them. And then the rest, I know what when y'all come this weekend, I know what like Rondo's got the house, right? We're gonna build better shit, but if he wants to get the widescreens, I can hold on a widescreen. I'm not big on the TV shit because these are smart TVs. I'd rather get a little fucking monitor. I'd rather have a big screen with a projector from Walmart, a couple of them. In case one break down, we can work on how to fix it and project fucking DVD movies up on that motherfucker or something. Yeah, I'm serious. I am so done with all that little tech because this shit fucks with the frequency. It messes with the frequencies. Are you aware that most things work because y'all like batteries to it? I'm asking you, are y'all aware that most things work? The towers and everything work because with all the stuff they're spraying in the air, why was I talking about the silver dial and all that with the chemicals and everything that the metals they're spraying in the air and everything that are airborne? Because they are using you. You keep thinking they're using electricity, right? Coming from some electric plant. You're powering this crap, y'all. You're in the matrix. The reason why I should sit down with the sister who made the original books, the Witch Call I and all that, she says, most people don't know this, Red. You know? I think because back then, I was Planet Fitness or at the Ironbound Gym. I was just walking around diesel like I'm, we're talking about, going like damn near 20 years ago. When she was sitting there a little over 20 years ago, when I was getting my White Castle, getting my chicken sandwiches, after sweeping up at the Apollo and talking with some of the people, she was like, they're using everybody like batteries right now. She was not lying. Okay? Y'all really need to pay attention, man. I know it's good to hear stories about this and that and language. And man, you got a language right now. Learn how to use it appropriate and know when you're saying something and casting a spell. If the terminology is we're going to utilize a spell, let's let it be what it actually means. That means to drift frequencies that are undermining everything of your existence. How's that? That's coincides with everything that goes against you. That's spell casting. Things that destroy you without you knowing, but you implicate yourself by utilizing the very things to assist in your own destruction. That's spell casting. Most people don't know this. I'm very well versed in this. You can reverse the actions, even with them doing it. That's why when I say things, I'm not playing. I think they think it's a game. Well, for them, it has been, because they've been getting away with bloody murder. I'm not here to stop them. But when I said leave me alone, I think they think it's a fucking gimmick. I need to type something right quick. You know me, I really don't get feelings and shit, and I don't get upset. But I do get tired of bullshit. One thing I won't tire of. Yeah, where you at? Okay, well, just don't be out there getting hurt or nothing. Be careful. All right. That's what I figured. That's a good thing. Okay, cool. And I mean, it's not about language because I got friends who, I'm not going to say who got YouTube accounts, right? I got a big phone. They've been doing this for a long time. And that expert, whatever, I'm not here to put them, I don't have to. And they be like, they give you a gold ingot for that? I said, we over here with the pod, we cursing our ass off. We got a green ingot. We got thousands of views because like this one individual stated, I'm going to say his name right quick. I want to be cool. I want to have a little coy when I do this, okay? All right? But y'all know Guns is Gadgets. I don't have to say the ex-police officer's name. They started doing it to him. And Rich, Black Scout Survival. I like them. And there's about 3 other people who they were doing it to and unsubscribing people, but they're still subscribed. And so when my boy told me he might right now he's not gonna look at this right now. They got the pad, they probably got some computer stuff. He's gonna go and he's gonna look right, and he's gonna go, oh, where they did it again. They're intentionally doing this. It doesn't matter if the hackers from India, Gujarats, or whatever the fuck with their fake identity. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you're hated, but if you embark on this road, when they come and they dispose of you, I will see you. Yeah, that's all I have to say to that. So play like you think you're iron. You know, in Kung Fu, the New Age fake Kung Fu, right there. I studied it for well over 40-something fucking years, and under some of the greatest grandmasters. And anyway, the fake China, that's something that melanated people created there, along with the light-skinned brothers who are lost in their sauce right now. If that's the case, if they're using those little goofy hackers who became Chinese Navy SEALs, whatever the fuck, or computer literates, whatever hack, little goofies, the Reagan time period, because if you look around the world, they were letting them all out everywhere. And those procreation rabbit humping make these little weirdos running around that they know where they're at all the time, and they utilize them for this because they made sure they knew how to do this. Those autistic Down syndrome individuals, too bad. You still got to wear the burden. So when you get there, I see you, you enjoy the ride. I'm just telling on myself like a mug, and nobody's real because you can't believe it. Because you don't fucking know. And I'm telling you, you're having a hard time, isn't it? It's a hard time, isn't it? And while people are still giving you a bunch of bullshit for history, you're the fucking Atlanteans. It's a real thing. That's why I have no respect for that little goofy nigga I talked to from Philly. You know, I used to box a lot of people when I served in the military and whoop a lot of their asses. And I got some homies from Philly who are straight up, and they don't tolerate most niggas there. I got some solid people from Philly. I'm talking about some real, you know, like solid, like if they was walking down the street, it's like Mike Tyson walking back through Brownsville. You dig what I'm saying? It's like when I went back up home and I walked down the street and everybody's looking like, and even the new people like, is that who they were talking about? And now I had an empty street I walked up, except a couple of little fake Italians. And I just walked by them and I looked, I didn't even really give them a notion, but I could feel them turn around and look at me like they passed some goddamn tests. They didn't succeed at nothing but showing that they were frivolously broken. And people were saying, man, are you crazy? Are you crazy? That's what they were saying to them. I went to see where my old pizzeria was. I was there. I was like, oh, I got to get a slice of pizza under new management. Now I'm not getting a slice of pizza. So I went to a restaurant that my brother Dwight was famed, which was an excellent, exceptional Mexican restaurant. Then I went to check out the Hindus, and they were like, oh, come on in. Well, I was like, I don't know. None of these people. It's a new restaurant. Even the Russian bar, the nightclub that most brothers there in my club won't go to. I walked by, and the guy was outside. He went to his friend like this. He goes, I said, what happened to the bike shop? I remember asking one of them, no, the Russian guy, big old mother. Oh, it's going to be something else. You know, it's English through the radio, you know, Nicola, whatever the fuck his name was. Anyway, he says, you're coming through tonight. I said, well, I'll be at DOV. I got to stop through there and I might swing up. Oh, you'll like it. You see, a lot of people like to talk a lot of goofy stuff here, right? That's cool. A lot of people got a little world. They want to have something interesting. The problem is everybody's talking about everything somebody's doing. There's a whole lot of folk doing everything everybody's doing. Oh, good. Enjoy it. They better leave me the fuck alone. I'm gonna have to say that every video, huh? What do y'all think? All it is that they're giving a warning to the next monkey that come along. And if it's the same one, then I guess I got to burn the candle at both ends again, huh? Nah, one time is all it takes. Everything happens in appropriate time. Oh, yeah, if you're in Jersey and New York, where I don't know if it's just an alarm or trying to get some energy from you, but they're talking about a tsunami. I don't know. Let me know. I mean, didn't they just have what was that? That tornado that tore up a damn Dollar General outlet or something like that, or whatever, the big main store? If this ain't set in stone, man, come on, guys. And how did I find out about that? I don't look at the news, y'all. When I tell you people inform me this shit, they say, hey, did you hear about? No, I didn't. I really don't care. And then I'll go and look. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's real. Anyway, I appreciate y'all listening to me banter while I'm reading. I'm just really getting a little, like, it's coming down to a wire, y'all. I'm not trying to get no energy from you. I don't need it. It's something to give you some, and y'all keep it blocking and ignoring it. Well, some of you going to go through some shit because you chose wrong. I keep telling you who you really are, what you're really capable of, and you keep choosing to ignore it. But you don't know the importance of being around people like you. So you hold on where you're at. And that's the reason why I'm reading 100 Years of Lynching. Because lynching is different now. Do y'all know what lynching actually means? I ain't talking about the narrative they painted. The real term, the lynch together. Anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and go through the Red Bull fusillade of that. We're not here to do the make an airplane jump off into the river type thing. All I'm saying, or go down a hill in some jacked up looking goat cart. All I'm saying, don't be in a rush. Know this: lynching is taking on a whole different vernacular. Okay, and that's for real. Hey Max, what's up, beloved? Devin Moore, what's cracking? What's cracking? Let's take care of them children. But most people aren't wanting to do the right thing to take care of them, you know? I hope y'all really this is going to get bad. You think it's bad now? Well, magnify that 1,000,000 times. And stay right where you're at, thinking you're safe and everything's going to work out just fine. Oh, do you remember, for those who are new subscribers, I appreciate you. It's not a hate. I do this. Anyway, do y'all know what a wolf prepper is? Well, for those who don't know, go and study. There's a whole lot of them. And they still want to be in the fight. And you're not ready for them. And they move like a pack, too. While y'all sitting there, I got my house, my car. I work too hard for the... I got my children. You don't care about your babies. You don't care about your grandbabies. You don't care about your brothers and your sisters. You don't care about your mammies and your pappies. You don't care about none of them. I'm throwing that in your face and prove me otherwise. I know you don't care about them. I know a lot of y'all are just sitting there, again, pacified, sucking on some damn, I don't know, maybe even to run around like the baby, that fake little rainbow kid, and put a diaper on or something. Still trying to sound, If you want to listen to somebody talk politics and who I actually respect, go watch The Angry Prepper in New York. In New York. I still say New York like I'm still living there, New York. Anyway, it's like saying Boston. Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, y'all can hear that? Yo, where you from? Jersey. Yo, and I hide my country accent because I got one, motherfuckers. I just hide it because I talk fast. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I appreciate y'all. And again, for the new subscribers, just be patient and hold on. I do this because I fucking care about you. Yeah, I do actually. All right? And more will be revealed. But stop looking for the fucking boogeyman. That don't exist except for in your fucking head. Now for them, there's a whole bunch of boogeymans. And they're so gone. It is what it is. All right? So come and get some. Come and get some. Really come and get some. No, let me stop fucking with y'all. Appreciate y'all. And it was good. I'm grateful. I hope it was a good time. And I'll do it again like that tomorrow. Like I said, I gotta go over and talk to him, let him know what's gonna be happening. So if these things get to rolling, and then when my brothers come up this weekend, that way I can sit here and say, this is what's gonna happen, and this is the date I'm looking at it. And when I set a date, I'm there. I'm the type of person, I can walk out this place, give the key to the office, and leave everything just the way it is, except for the books and the cat and my survival foods and stuff like that. Yeah, and filters. Well, that'll fit in the back of the truck. But anyway, I leave everything. I've done it 3 times. I ain't no drug addict. And people will sit there going, man, he left and he got more than what he had, and man, he went back to school. He got another degree. He got another. What the fuck? And of course, I ain't leaving these motherfuckers. Because see, these little idiots, they drop like flies. I don't advocate violence. I'm just saying something. Now, there's things out there. You got to be able to do some other shit. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. All right. And don't be messing around, meditating with not knowing what you're doing. Charming and calming and rhyming and conjuring up shit that's going to fuck with you. Don't do that. All right. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good evening.